Has Kevin Durant just flipped the entire NBA on its head? At age 37? The Houston Rockets just pulled off what might be the biggest heist of the decade, snatching one of the greatest scorers ever for pennies on the dollar. But is this move pure genius or reckless desperation? Today, we're breaking down why KD walked out on Phoenix, how Houston pulled this off, and whether this gamble could actually shake up the Western Conference for years to come. Nobody saw this coming. Not even the insiders who live on Twitter 24/7. Right before hanging up his mic for good, Adrian Wojnarowski dropped his final bombshell. Kevin Durant is heading to Houston. One of the NBA's biggest names traded to a team built on raw, hungry young talent. Fans lost their minds. Analysts called it insane. Why would a team full of 20-somethings bet their future on a 37-year-old superstar who just watched Phoenix crash and burn? And how did the Suns get so little back? Well, the chaos behind the scenes? Way messier than anyone expected. To really get why Kevin Durant bailed, you've got to look at the circus he was stuck in. The Phoenix Suns went from finals hopefuls to a cautionary tale in just a couple of years, and it all started the day Matt Ishbia bought the team. The new owner wanted headlines fast, so he forced out half the roster and 5 first-round picks just to get Durant. Then, as if doubling down on disaster, he grabbed Bradley Beal, but gave him a no-trade clause, basically handcuffing the front office if things went south. Spoiler, they did. Phoenix went from a scrappy final squad to the most expensive joke in the league. And when you're paying a fortune to get swept out of the first round, someone has to go. So behind KD's back, they quietly tried to dump Beal, then Durant himself, even sending feelers to Golden State for a reunion. Once KD heard about that betrayal, he was done. And trust me, that backstabbing was just the start. Once Durant found out Phoenix was sneaking around, he flipped the script. He wasn't going to let them ship him anywhere like some washed-up role player. With just 1 year left on his deal, KD had all the power. No team was going to gut their roster for a rental who could bolt in 12 months. So when Minnesota came calling, ready to throw Rudy Gobert or Julius Randle plus young talent and a pick, Durant shut it down. He straight up told them, not happening. Same thing with Miami. They needed a superstar after losing Jimmy Butler, but refused to give up anything real. No Jaime Jaquez, no draft picks, nothing. They thought they'd get 1,000 dinars for peanuts. He said, yeah, good luck with that. In the end, he handpicked just 3 places. The Spurs with Wemby, the Rockets, or Miami if they magically coughed up real assets. The Spurs passed. The Heat lowballed. That left one team standing, young, ambitious, and ready to roll out the red carpet. Houston. And they knew exactly what they were getting into. Houston didn't hesitate for a second. And once you see what they gave up, you'll see why. To land Kevin freaking Durant, they traded Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, the number 10 pick, and a handful of second-rounders. That's it. No core defenders, no future killing package. They even kept Phoenix's most valuable picks in 2027 and 2029. The same ones everyone knows could be gold if the Suns keep sinking. And let's be real, Jalen Green was a walking question mark. Some nights he'd drop 40 and look like a star. Other nights he'd vanish and play zero defense. Coach Ime Udoka benched him more than once. Dillon Brooks? A nice 3-and-D guy, but nowhere near untouchable. And that number 10 pick? They didn't even have minutes for last year's number 3, Reed Shepherd, so what were they going to do with another rookie? Bottom line, Houston plugged the one hole they had, a stone cold closer to hit daggers when games get tight. They sacrificed scraps and kept the ammo for another big swing if a young superstar hits the market. It was bold, but calculated. And Kevin Durant knew exactly what he was walking into. So, is Kevin Durant still Kevin Durant? Or did Houston just buy an old highlight reel? On paper, the numbers scream superstar. 37 years old and he's still dropping 27 a night, right on his career average. Same assists, just 1 fewer rebound, and still one of the most efficient scorers in the game, even after tearing his Achilles 5 years ago. It's unreal. But dig deeper, and the cracks show. He doesn't guard like he used to. Opponents hunt him on switches now, And he doesn't attack the rim much anymore, which means fewer free throws, and that's a killer when you're trying to close tight playoff games. So, yeah, he's not the two-way monster he was in Golden State. But here's the thing, the Rockets don't need him to be. They already have dogs on defense. What they didn't have was a cold-blooded shot maker when everything slows down. Now they do. Durant won't drag a team by himself anymore, but surrounded by hungry young legs and a coach he trusts, that's a nightmare for the West. And the only question left is, can this blend of old superstar and young firepower actually hold up when it matters most? On paper, this Rockets roster looks terrifying. Young legs, lockdown defenders, and now one of the greatest clutch shooters alive. But there's still one massive hole nobody's sure about. Who's leading this thing when everything hits the fan? Let's be honest. Kevin Durant has never been that guy in the locker room. He's the bucket getter, not the speech giver. He wasn't the voice in Golden State, Brooklyn, or Phoenix. And at 37, he's not suddenly turning into your emotional captain. So who steps up? It's got to be Coach Ime Udoka. He's tough, respected, and already benched young stars to keep standards sky high. If anyone can squeeze this wild mix into a real contender, it's him. But championship runs get ugly. Egos clash, shots don't fall, and leaders hold teams together when everything breaks. If Houston cracks under that weight, the West isn't forgiving. The Nuggets, Thunder, and maybe even a resurgent Warriors are waiting to expose any weakness. So yeah, the Rockets just built a monster, but can they actually control it when it matters most? So what does this blockbuster actually mean for the rest of the NBA? For starters, it flipped everyone's plans overnight. For months, insiders swore Houston was quietly saving up every asset for a swing at Giannis. The Greek freak was rumored to be restless in Milwaukee, and the Rockets were ready to pounce if he shook loose. But now, maybe they know something the rest of us don't, that Giannis is staying put for another title run. Or maybe they just decided they couldn't wait forever. Either way, they got Durant for a bargain, kept their best draft picks, and can still chase another big name down the line if one pops up. Meanwhile, Phoenix looks like the biggest loser here. They gave away the farm for a short window, got bounced early every year, and just traded their best trade chip for pennies because they boxed themselves in financially. And with KD gone, they're not scaring anybody anytime soon. But the real twist? The Western Conference just got a new heavyweight, and they might not even be finished. If another superstar wants out this year, don't be shocked if Houston jumps in again. One thing's for sure, the Rockets aren't rebuilding anymore. They're hunting, and the rest of the league better pay attention.